French squad for the Six Nations 2021 has been named. Is this going to be the first French team in 10 years to get themselves a Six Nations title? They came bloody close last year, but couldn't quite pip England to that Six Nations title. Likewise, in the Autumn Nations Cup, bloody close, albeit with a very changed team from what's their normal kind of strongest team. Maybe speaks a bit to the depth that is in French rugby at the moment. We've still got a cloud as to whether the competition is going to get underway as it's scheduled to, with the current lockdowns and the restriction of travel between France and the UK. It does, and Ireland obviously. Plus, I'm not sure what Italy is doing with their travel restrictions. Either way, it does seem like a tough ask at the moment, but we'll just play what is in front of us, right? The squad has been named. We'll go through and see if there's a few talking points, a few omissions, I guess, as well. And yeah, you guys can let me know what you reckon about the squad. Hookers, they went with Boujari. Excuse the pronunciation, I'm going to butcher it. Do let me know about the pronunciation tips in the comments because I will work on them. Shat and Marchand are the three hookers. Only Shat is above, into double digits in caps. He's got like 30, whereas Marchand's like a 9, and the first fellow whose name I struggle with has got 3. But he's the man who was in the squad for the Autumn Nations Cup final. So again, he's not got a heck of a lot of experience, but he's played in a final already at this early stage of his career for like a 23-year-old. It's not bad. Antonio, Bai, Colombe, Gross, Hawass, and Collinger are the other props. Again, when I look at that, there's a heck of a lot of, you would say, youth. I mean, Antonio's 30, 34 caps. Bai is 23 caps, he's 27. These guys are kind of your senior guys. Hawass is like 26 years old, 7 caps. He's your third most experienced guy. Collinger, who played in the Autumn Nations Cup, he's got 2 caps. Gross has got 5 caps. It's a pretty young, like Colombe will be a debutant. He's only 22 years old. Like props tend to peak closer to 30 than 20, but these guys largely in their early 20s. Which is kind of astonishing. But I've kind of got one eye on the World Cup in a few years' time, and you imagine where these guys, assuming we can get some games in, where these guys could potentially be at that point. Locks, Gerasi, Leroux, Pacenti, Ribaj, Roman Tafafanua, and Paul Willemser. Bit more experience there. Tafafanua is 30, Willems is 28. Both those guys are into double digits in their caps. Leroux is an old hand at 44 caps. Very reliable. Like him and Willemser were quite the combination from what we've seen of them in 2020. Tafafanua is no slouch as well. Pacenti, I only really saw him for the first time in the Autumn Nations Cup. I seem to remember he did all right. I think he plays a bit of loose forward as well, doesn't he? Again, like he's got 2 caps. He's 23 years old. We'll see what can Galthié get out of him, because a lot of these guys have got bags of potential, and a lot of them have got more experience, loads of experience, successful experience at like the under 20s level. Lucy's Aldrich, Cretin, Cruz, Jelenic, Olivon, goodness me, I always get that name wrong, and Tolafua. Olivon is captain. He's 27 years old, 18 caps. In the scheme of things, not that experienced, 18 caps, but he plays like a guy who's a lot more mature than a 27-year-old with less than 20 caps. All the other guys, apart from Aldrich, are all still in the single cap territory. And again, there's a bit of youth. Cretin is only 23. Aldrich is only 23. Jelenic is only 24. These guys will be, 26, 27 come World Cup time. So it's not a bad thing. Jelenic and Tolafua obviously played in the Autumn Nations Cup as well. Into the backs, Yu from memory, that's how you pronounce his name. Dupont and Saran, those are your 3 scrum halves, 23 years old, 24 years old. And Saran is like the veteran at 26 years old, which is, again, in itself kind of mind-boggling, but it feels like he's been around for a lot longer than that. His 39 caps are among the most in the squad. Is he the most capped back after Fiku? Yes, I think he is. Dupont, probably the best player in the world. Certainly the best scrum half. I don't know how much argument there would be about that. Probably not a heck of a lot. Some people might put a case forward for some other guys, but I think my money would be on Dupont. What he does week in, week out is pretty astonishing. But yeah, be interesting to see some other guys get some minutes as well. Or does he pour all the minutes into the one man? I remember the 10-14, if you can remember that YouTube channel from quite some time ago. They haven't done anything for a while, but prior to the World Cup, they used to look at what's the ideal split of the minutes prior to a World Cup. And it was like you put most of your minutes into your A guy, but you do need to put a sizable, but still the minority of the minutes into at least your backup. So, you get a bit of spread in the experience. I know Dupont's tempting just to play him the whole game. Fly halves, you got Carbonell and Jalibert. There's no Ntamak because he is injured. Both those guys played in the Autumn Nations Cup final. 21 and 22 years old. Pretty youthful. Del Bui is a midfielder alongside Fiku, Vakatawa, Vincent. Yeah, that's pretty much your midfield. I don't know much about Del Bui. Have I seen him play? Probably. I can't remember. Vakatawa is very, very distinctive. He's a hard man to forget. Seems to be that kind of guy. That if you just put a chip over the top and get him running onto the ball, good things are going to happen for you. So he's a bit of a veteran at 28 years old and 27 caps. Fiku, likewise, 58 caps, is, I think, the most experienced guy in the squad. He's only 26. Right, veteran. Outside backs, Pino, Taufa Whenua, that's the other Taufa Whenua, this is Donovan. I think they're cousins, right? Teddy Thomas, Villiers, Bouthier, Dulon, and Ramo. Taufa Whenua is an uncapped guy, so I'll be keen to see how he goes. I think I've seen him play. Plays for Racing 92. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thomas is again that risk-reward player who can do absolutely magic things at times. Prone to an error or two in defense, but I can't remember him having a real kind of brain explosion poor moment in a while. But I don't watch the top 14 in any detail to comment on that. But I know I've certainly seen him do some magic things. Villiers I was kind of becoming accustomed to in the Autumn Nations Cup. He's got some proper gas. Dulon, again, veteran in this squad anyway, at 30 years old and 31 caps. He was immense in the Autumn Nations Cup final. That guy was just bloody everywhere. Ramo, likewise, is a safe pair of hands. Bouthier has only got 6 caps at 28. His journey to the top of the professional game has been a bit of a different one, but man, I still can't forget that boot of his last year. The guy has got quite a kick on him. So whoever Galthié goes with, I'm sure he'll get some good pay. It's really good to see Pinot back. I haven't seen him play for France for a long time, and he is a proper dangerous weapon. So there's no Raka. A couple of the guys in the, I didn't write their names down, which is unfortunate. It was Moefana and Dante, the midfielders from that Autumn Nations Cup game. So there's a few guys who've kind of fallen by the wayside. I know Ntamak is injured. Woki is injured. He played in the Autumn Nations Cup as well. Yeah, they did mention... Oh, Demba Bamba, he's injured as well. But overall, I think you'd have to say it's a pretty exciting looking French side. I had a look at the average age. The forwards, it's like 25. And the backs is like 24 and a half. So it's a proper... Like, there's still some experienced guys, like Leroux's 31, Chat is 30. No, the only back who's 30 is Dulon. All the guys are in their 20s. Vakatawa's 28, like I mentioned, but there's a lot of 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds who come 2023, as I mentioned, if we can get enough rugby played and Galthié decides to kind of divide up the minutes between some of the guys, you could have quite an imposing team. I mean, they're good now, but imagine in a few more years once these guys have got more experience. And it's kind of nice, I guess, in that Ntamak is injured now, and that you get to see a bit more from Carbonell and Jalibert, because they've both, they've both got bags of potential as well. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the French side. As I mentioned, I do not watch enough top 14 to know like who are the other guys in form who've been snubbed at the moment, but there certainly, I'm sure, will be a few. And which of these guys are you looking to see get a bit more game time, if we get any game time in 2021? But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. Talk to you again soon. See you later.